somebody can carry with them, so you can actually be able to sit. So the children are welcome. The issues that normally come there is because of issues of maybe of if noise, if the children start running around. But the course is very well marked. There are ropes which put you in barriers, which you actually show where you can walk, where you cannot walk. So all that is very clearly demarcated.
Okay.
It is just a great family outing for one to spend time with their family. And there are great eating joints that are going to be available at the open. There's always a food corner, which is open for the family to sit and eat with their family and then continue to watch golf. There are areas you can stop, drink water. So it's a fantastic day for somebody to just spend time and come and watch the Barclays Kenya Open.
Right, Patrick.
Yeah, I think Catherine has covered a lot there. In terms of attending the Kenya Open, obviously the question that people are going to ask is, with all the work that is taking place on the Thika Highway, can we actually access the golf course? And the answer is yes, there is. It will be easy to access, especially if you're, the Mudaga course, if you're coming from town, you're going in the opposite direction to traffic. For most of the week, okay, if you're coming from Thika and all those places, you've got a bit of a challenge. Come a bit later in the morning when the traffic is clear. So there's plenty of parking. We have been kindly offered parking by the Kenya Forest Services. So there'll be a big parking area there, secure with security. And then there'll be a shuttle that moves people from there to the course and back.
Okay.
So there's secure parking. You don't have to park on the side of the road where you can be knocked by another vehicle or your car can be broken into. The Kenya Forest Service have been kind enough to give us that location for people to park. So that is a first for this year, that we're going to have that kind of security for people to come in there. And and then a shuttle come in and then you walk around the course. The costs, I think, are reasonable. It's 200 shillings on Thursday and Friday and 400 shillings on Saturday and Sunday. And the season ticket is 600 shillings, which is half the total cost if you have to buy each day.
Yes.
So 600 shillings. And for us, it makes sense because it is less administration, rather than having to cut a ticket every day. So that's why we make it such a reasonable cost for people to come in.
As a player, do I still have a chance, to come in?
No, the selection to participate in the Kenya Open is, first of all, you've got to have played as an amateur at the top level. And the people who are playing as amateurs actually are playing off scratch handicap or better. Right, so they're almost ready to join the pro ranks. And the pros, obviously, again, they have to go through a certain qualifying procedure. So they also are the top level of the professionals that are coming in. So all in all, I think there's going to be plenty of fun for people to come, especially on the Saturday and Sunday on the weekend. But we'd like people to also come in on the Thursday and Friday, because at that point in time, there is 156 golfers playing. On the weekend, it will be whittled down to about between 64 and 70 maximum. Right, okay, there's a good quality at that time, but the 156, there's a lot of golf to watch then. Then it means that you won't be bored. There's no action here. But at the weekend, there's a smaller field, quality field, and maybe, people are free, they can come in at that time in bigger numbers.
All right.
And my target is, and I'd like to appeal to Kenyans, I'd like to get about 2,000 people on that course a day, at least. If we can get that number, then I'll be quite happy for the future.
And golf standards in Kenya will be raised.
Yes.
I think my next question would be, even as we wind up, I'm sure our time is almost up. Golf in Kenya. And many of our viewers at home may be thinking, golf has always interested me, but the costs, from what I hear, are out there. But you have a different view. Maybe you can run me through that.
I was a captain in a golf club about 10 years ago, and somebody asked me the question. And so I had to think and work out, how can you convince somebody that golf isn't an elite sport, it is not as expensive as people think it is. And I thought, right, what would an average person do on a weekend? I'd go and, meet us as friends, we'd go to a bar somewhere, we'd have our nyam choms and some beer and everything else. And when I look at the capital outlay, in terms of just having that weekend camaraderie, currently costs maybe about 5,000 shillings a day.
Wow.
So it's 10,000 bob for the weekend per person, roughly. Now, multiply that over the year. How much does that come to?
In the hundreds of thousands.
520,000 shillings in a year. Right. So that is how much I spend on my beer and roast meat and whatever and food I eat on the weekend. Even, let's call it 400,000. Forget about the 500,000 shillings.
Okay.
Or even 300,000. You can bring it down to whatever figure. Now, if you're to become a golfer, joining an average golf club will cost you maybe about 70, 80, call it 100,000 shillings to join. And then
a one-time
a one-time cost, and then which includes your first subscription, and then after that your annual subscription. But let's take the first year, which is the most expensive. Then I'll probably get a second-hand set of golf clubs. Cost me 30,000 shillings at the outside. Maybe even somebody lend you that just to get you started. So then you've paid 130,000 shillings. So that you are ready to start golf. Then you go and you get trained by a professional, say about 10,000 shillings. Where are we at? We're at 140,000 shillings in terms of starting golf. Then if you play, say, twice a week, your caddy fee is maybe about 1,000 shillings. So for the whole week, 1,000 shillings, that's 50,000 bob. Right? We're still below 200,000 shillings. Right? Then, of course, you'll meet your friends and you have a couple of drinks afterwards. Yeah? So you probably spend 1,500 shillings, whatever. So it's
still keeping it under 200,000.
So when you talk about your total cost in a year, if you do that instead of going for your sort of weekend 2 days,
which you're already doing,
you will probably spend about 250,000, say 300,000 shillings in a year.
Half,
right? And it's about, if you're talking about 400,000 shillings, you've got a saving of 100,000 shillings already.
So it's cheaper to play golf.
But there are other benefits as well. Who do you meet? Networking. For you, if you're a businessman, if you're somebody who's actually coming up in work and all the rest of it, the kind of network you get is brilliant.
If you're a journalist.
Exactly. A journalist, you name it, the works, the kind of people you meet and the access you have. And you know, you're playing golf with somebody for how long? 4 hours. When can you get a CEO with you for 4 hours?
To listen to you.
And have a conversation with you. Not often, right? But then also, you walk for 4 hours, which is healthy. So there's a whole lot of other non-tangible benefits in terms of becoming a golfer. So at the end of the day, I think it is actually cheaper to join a golf club and play golf than it is to hang every weekend.
And more beneficial to you.
It's more beneficial to you in the longer term. So I think let's get away from the fact that golf is an expensive sport. It isn't. It's a mindset that we have, and people are just got to start talking to golfers and understand that really the cost-benefit analysis for golf means that more people should be taking up golf.
You know what? I think somebody should make you the golf ambassador. I could not have put it in a better way. Did you want to add something in regard to that?
The only thing I would add on to what Patrick has said is that it's actually fun. It looks like not a very active sport, but when you go there and you try to take a golf club and try to hit the ball, it is actually a fun game. It doesn't look like you're exerting any exercise, any pressure on yourself.
Look at it.
It's a skill. It's a very good skill, but it is a fun sport. So you will have fun in the process, in addition to all the exercise, and in addition to doing something that you would actually enjoy. So it's a very fun thing to do.
Looking towards the future, possibly a question to both of you. 3 years in this tournament, what can we expect in regard to that? And for you in the long run, what are you looking at in expanding the tournament?
I think for us, like I mentioned, Barclays is taking on the sponsorship for a period of 3 years. We are looking to be able to host this to a world-class, a much bigger event, higher quality players. And we will work very closely with Kenya Open Golf Limited to make sure that this event gets to the international standards from the PGA Tour. And we will work to assist them in any way possible so that we get an event of very world-class standards. We intend to see a bigger prize money in the years to come, bigger coverage in the years to come, and also to bring Kenya as a focus for this country, because the players who may come here may not only be coming, the international players who may come here should look at Kenya not only as a golfing destination. We have some very good golf clubs in Kenya, but in addition to that, we need to look at this more as a tourist destination. Kenya offers wonderful tourist spots, even within Nairobi. I mean, Nairobi, for example, is home to the only national park in the world. I think it's probably the only city that has a national park.
Adjacent to it.
Yes. So the people who come to play golf here, the players who are coming to play golf here, have other things in addition that they can be able to do in Nairobi. And it is our hope that as we continue to work with this tournament, we'll be able also to be able to market Kenya at a certain level.
It's an income earner for everyone out there who's involved in this.
From the point of view of the tournament, I think one of the headaches has always been that you're spending time looking for a sponsor all the time. And when you spend time doing that, the quality of the event itself, you can't give it the kind of attention it requires. And with Barclays coming on board for 3 years, plus a few other people who are coming on board with us as well, it means that we can now focus on adding value to the spectator, which is something that I believe is crucial in terms of driving the event to bigger things. Because as a sponsor, you're looking to access people. And if we have the sponsorship bagged as it is now, I can focus on getting good facilities for spectators to come. We can begin to activate spectators to come in. And if I can move from the current level of maybe about 2,000 spectators for the 4 days, 2,000 to 2,500, to 10,000.
Wow, in subsequent years.
In subsequent years. That for me really is the opportunity that this sponsorship gives. And 10,000, 15,000 to come in, then effectively we have a world-class event where you can begin to have grandstands where people are sitting there, they're shouting, they're having a good time, and they're actually enjoying the game of golf. And that for me is my target over the next 2 to 3 years, is to improve the value for the spectator to come in. Then after that we'll leapfrog and then improve the competition and the spectator competition, and in that way actually we lift up the whole event.
The East African Open, you know. I'm just saying, as a parting shot, last year Ali Kimani showed us that Kenya does have, you know, great talent. Has that set greater expectations for what we're looking at in terms of the Kenyans who will be golfing this time round?
I think what the likes of Ali Kimani last year, Jacob Okello before, and Fred Kamau a few years back, all of them actually at some point in time created a buzz around golf when they were playing. And with Ali Kimani having been on the leaderboard for the first time, a lot of people the following day came to watch golf. But the other thing it has done is really inspired the professional golfers in Kenya for them to lift their standard. And as we move forward, my objective is to basically lift the standard up so that our local professionals will begin to get to a standard that they can begin to knock on the door of winning prize money in the Kenya Open. Right? And it means that we've got the talent, but I'm just going to begin to raise the bar. Right, so that I say, if you want to come in and participate in the Kenya Open, you've got to come to this level. And Ali Kimani shows that it is there.
It's possible.
All you've got to do is just give the challenge and move them up.
Right, right. Wow, wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Patrick Obath. It's been a pleasure having you in studio. Of course, Catherine Ayota from Barclays Bank. I would say thank you, Barclays Bank. I believe the Kenya Open, better yet, the Barclays Kenya Open, forgive me, is going to the next level. And listen to some of the plans that you have given. This is a tournament that you do not want to miss out. It starts on Wednesday next week with the pro-am section of it, but from the 31st to the 3rd, 4 days of pure golfing action for golfers out there and spectators who do want to get